Hello, hello. Hi, Angie. I'm so excited for our full moon June card pull for today. So it's so good to see you. I have so much to talk about.
It's so good to see you too. I can't wait to see this card pull. I'm so into card pulling now because of you.
I know. Well, I loved what you did last night on your master course, your master class. You did a card pull before for
hmm
the welcoming the energy of the people that were signed up for it. And I was like, that is so brilliant. I loved it. I loved it. So stay tuned. We will be right back for our full moon June card pull. Welcome to the podcast, Empowered by Design. I am your host, Dr. Liz, a hopeful romantic, intuitive spirit, mom of two beautiful souls, and partner to the love of my life. I am a love and relationship specialist, licensed psychologist, and owner of Visionistas by Design Wellness Boutique. Our mission is to lead with love and empower you to heal, grow, shine, and fly. This podcast delivers lessons and conversations on the power of connection, of tuning in body, mind, heart, soul, and spirit to manifest your dreams in life, love, and biz with intentional vision. Share the love, spread the power. Dream, design, deliver. So I think this is a really fun and special one, because it is not only the full moon, right? On Friday, right? It's the full moon is Friday. The summer solstice is Thursday. So we have the summer solstice and the full moon happening all at the same time.
What does the summer solstice mean?
The summer solstice. So I'm going to say I wish Emily were here. You know Emily.
Yeah.
So someday she'll tell us. But my understanding of the summer solstice, it is the longest the longest day of light in our year. So from December 21st, when the winter solstice happens, that is the shortest amount of light for us. And then from then it gets the amount of light gets longer and longer and longer in duration until now the summer solstice is the longest day. So it's a huge day of celebration. I'm wearing my yellow shirt for the full moon brightness and the summer solstice brightness on the longest day of light. And then we go into, then the days get shorter, right? Days get shorter, nights get longer. We don't notice that, right? Because it's summer. So you think of summer, you're thinking long days, but actually it is getting shorter in duration of how much light we have during the day, up here and actually I'm thinking, where we are in the United States.
Yes.
Because it switches, right, for the other hemisphere, right? It's like winter there, it's the winter solstice. Well, not the winter solstice, the summer solstice. You know what? I don't know. So I'm talking for our hemisphere.
Northern Hemisphere.
Third grade science class was so long ago. So I'm just going to stop there because that's what I do now.
Okay, so this is my question. Because when you're talking about all this light, it's reminds me of illumination. Are you doing your
Yes.
illumination circle on the solstice?
No. So
Okay.
I was looking, unfortunately, I'm not, because I was looking at all the full moons in the summer and I'm out of town for every single one of them, except, and even potentially August. So this weekend we're traveling for my son's Jackson's baseball tournament. Then in July for the new moon. So I did a new moon circle in June, which was so much fun. We were outside. It was beautiful. We were visited by a little black cat who sat outside of our circle and was part of it. It was just wonderful. So great. And I'm loving the energy of the illumination circles and recognizing that I'm building upon each one, because I have some attendees who are coming back, and then each circle has new attendees. So it's such a great mixture. Each time it's a unique mixture of women who bring their energy. And so it's helpful for me because they're so authentic and they show up just like truly themselves. Even so much like they'll say, that, the being here with all of you gives me the courage to say this thing that I wouldn't typically say. Yes. Oh my God. It was so beautiful. They're all beautiful. And so this next illumination circle, I won't be in town for the new moon of July, the full moon of July. So we're going to be doing it July 14th, which is like kind of in the middle, right? So
Okay.
there will be it'll be a different kind of energy, and I'm excited for that. But we are doing an inner child illumination circle on the 14th of July. I'm so excited. So really just recognizing, because you and I have been doing our TBM challenge, and we've been getting much more in touch with our authentic selves. That is like it's a journey that will happen forever. And really focusing on like the inner child, loving the inner child, embracing the inner child, the fun, the play, and like bringing that out so that we can be authentically who we are now in our lives. And I'm just so excited for that.
Liz, I'm so excited about that too. I love inner child work, and I wish so bad that I live near Nazareth, Pennsylvania.
Me too. Me too. I can't wait
Oh my
for
gosh.
us to, yes, be together in person. Yeah. And I thank you to you for introducing me to TBM. I was thinking about it just today, even on my drive in, like how it is such a synthesis for me of things that I have learned throughout different stages of my life. And the way that it's packaged and the way that it's organized just has helped me so much. And so that is something that you introduced me to. And so I really appreciate that. And it's just been magnificent for me. And I love to bring just that kind of extension of the work that I've been doing for myself, but also in my professional work, to the circle. Oh, I can't wait.
Oh my gosh. I think that that's always what makes the most powerful experiences, when
Yeah.
when the teacher is also doing that work. Well, we have
Yeah.
so
And
much work
I
to do.
think that that's what I love about the circle, is that I can be much more myself in that way. In a therapy space, you bring yourself to the work, but the way that I was trained is like, it is way more about it is about the client, right? You're there and you're present, and I do therapy in a very collaborative way. But I'm not sharing, like, it's not my go-to to share my own life story that will help the client understand their life story, right? That's not what therapy is about. That's what makes therapy different from workshops and circles and things like that, because therapy is really like, okay, this is about the client. And there's certain things, of course, that my life experiences have helped them understand, but it's about the training, and it's about just helping providing something different than what people, in their lives provide for them. So
I've heard it
yeah.
explained like this, like coaches are like, so what you're doing outside of your therapy work with like the circles and everything like that, and like the weddings, like wedding coaching.
Yes.
Coaches are there for self-improvement, and like therapists are there to help you work through deep traumas, and so
Mm-hmm.
that's kind of like, if you're needing more like clinical work, then you go to a therapist. But if you're working on like self-improvement, enlightenment, and like building better habits, or like enjoying your life more, or awareness, then that's what coaches are for, which I thought
Yeah.
was really helpful to hear that distinction. A therapist said that distinction. So I
Yeah.
thought that was really helpful.
Yeah. And what's lovely is that therapy is becoming so much more accessible, right?
Mhm.
So I think the sometimes the boundaries that can be there are from different things. Like if you're using your health insurance, there's certain stipulations that have to happen when you are contracted with the health insurance. And then, right. So there's so many different kinds of therapy, and I'm so excited to be in this wave where people are much more open to being saying like, oh yeah, I go to therapy. Of course I go to therapy, right? Like, because people are recognizing just how valuable it is not to just go to therapy when you are in crisis or going through some kind of an episode or experiencing psychological symptoms that, that get in the way of being able to live life, right? So that's another way to look at it, is like therapy and mental health treatment really are helpful for if you're going through symptoms or an episode that is making it difficult to live life in a way that feels healthy and fulfilling, right? And coaching and workshops are like, yeah, like I'm able to function and I'm looking to like just keep growing and just keep learning and keep going deeper and kind of like be the best and most favorite version of myself.
Yeah, that's a really beautiful way to explain that.
Yeah. Oh, what a fun conversation. I wasn't even planning that we would have that today. So let's get into the full moon card pool. I'm so excited. I have today with me my favorite deck. I'm going to pull 2 cards. So I have my Wild Unknown Archetypes deck, which is my favorite, my baby. Like I feel like it's my firstborn deck. And then I have my moon deck as well, because it is a full moon card pool. And I'm just going to maneuver my other table over here. So, okay. So before we get started, I will just welcome us both here and anyone listening or watching to just take a moment to pause, close your eyes if you feel comfortable or safe and you're not driving. If you're driving, keep your eyes open and on the road, but just take a moment to be with yourself. Take a deep breath. Shake out those shoulders. We carry so much tension in our jaw and shoulder area. And just welcome this time that you have chosen to be here with yourself in the pursuit and journey of growth and healing and illumination, and here with me and Angie. And call into mind something that is on your mind, on your heart today, that you would love some illumination on from the full moon energy of June, and mixed with the summer solstice, where this is the longest duration of light that we will see this year in 2024. Just call that into mind, and when you feel ready, you can come back and open your eyes and join us. I will shuffle up the cards. I love this deck. The Wild Unknowns Archetype deck is a collection. This is the same, similar to your alchemy deck by the same author, Kim Krantz. The Wild Unknown Archetypes are images, people, places, things, tools, ideas that transcend time, space, culture, and that have meaning inherent in themselves. But then, as you know, Angie, and as we've talked about before, there is an energy that we both believe that there's a card pulled based upon the energy that is generated by us and the people who are here with us, whether that's not live, just us live, whenever they're listening to it, right? This energy is here for them. And so I'm going to pull a card. Ooh, a couple of them fell on the floor. I'll get them later. And then I'm going to pull also at this time before I look. I love the surprise of it. You know, I love surprises. So I love like keeping the cards down, and like the big reveal for me is so fun. Like I always am so enthralled by whatever card comes. Okay, I'm shuffling up the moon deck, which I purchased from my friend Jenny, who owns the Comfy Cozy Apothecary down the street. Love that shop. Shout out to Jenny. Okay. Calling in the energy that is here with us today in this time of celebration. You know, I also love celebrating. Celebrating and light. I think a lot of times we hear people are like, the energy of the full moon is making me, you know, with chaos. But okay, are you ready?
Yes.
Dun, 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 dun. Oh my gosh. The dead end. Don't mind my nails. Okay.
Ooh. You know I love that card.
I know you love this card. I know you love this card. Now, some people get a little nervous about this card, right? Because the dead end, right? So if you're listening, this card is black with what's very visible is that hand in the middle, right? There's a hand right in the center of the card. What then also looks to be surrounded by like either branches or could be a web, right? A web of branches is what it looks like to me. Angie, what does it look like to you?
Yeah, I was gonna say a web as well. It reminds me of an anime that I watched last night.
Ooh,
That was very scary. So it is kind of like a card that makes you feel like, whoa, something scary might happen.
absolutely.
But I have a feeling that it's a mixture. Scary things always lead to growth and development. So
Yes, right. Like, yes. So my, I've pulled this card probably only one time before, and it does elicit that like startle reaction in people, like the dead end. And it is card number 40, card number 40. And I love that. Yes, what you believe, what you've said about your belief in that. Think about when you've come to a dead end before, when it's like you're going and you're going and you're going and you're going and you're potentially like, I maybe the image of the card makes me think of myself like walking in the woods and like wherever you are on your journey, getting to this place where it's like, oh my God, this is done. This is over. This path is closed. There's nowhere to go further in this path. And so we have to choose a different direction. Right?
ooh, oh my goodness. Okay, so I love that interpretation of this card. And since I don't know what this card's like symbolism is according to the author and the artist who developed this. But when I see like a dead end, and what that card specifically reminds me of is like when you get to that point and you feel like it's a dead end and it's asking you like, hey, we're done. There's nowhere else to go. What the only thing that you can do to overcome whatever this big obstacle dead end is like to come into a new version of yourself. And so of course that's why I had to mention that anime, that it reminded me of those webs. It's like a very in Japanese anime, it's like a motif that comes up over and over and over, which, so I love that you say these motifs transcend time and culture.
Wonderful. Yes.
And that's what happens. That's like a common theme, is like the characters come up against some type, usually it's like an opponent who is unbeatable, and then they come to this like dead end where there's nothing they can do, and you're like, how will they ever get through this? And then they transcend and become like a new version of themselves, like a like a more powerful version of themselves. And it's like a really common theme in Japanese anime. So
I
I love this
love
card.
that. I love that
Mhm.
too. And I love that there's no other option but to become a new version of yourself. That is such a powerful, powerful point. That I want to just like, I really take that in if you're listening and watching this. You're becoming a new version of yourself, stronger. You've picked up, oh, I love this also. You've picked up things along the way on this journey that will help you to direct your path and what that means for you. Oh, I love it. I love it. That's so cool. Thank you for sharing that. Okay.
Mhm.
Let's go to the moon card from the moon deck. And we have card number 4. And
Oh,
isn't that gorgeous?
beautiful.
Okay, I didn't read it yet, but I'm going to read it and then we'll describe the picture for people who are listening. The rhythm of my breath directs the rhythm of my life. Oh my God, it is a beautiful woman outside under the starry sky in front of a beautiful, it looks like a purple like mountain, right? Does that look like
Mhm.
that to you?
That's what it looks like to
Oh,
me too.
or it's smoke. No, it looks like a mountain. And then there's a tree line in front of it. And she has her face tipped up to the sky, hair flowing behind her. She's wearing a beautiful like necklace, but you can see her chest and her breast. And her breath as well is pictured as a beautiful spiral. What? I want to say the word enigma. That's what came up for me. Right out of her mouth. But it's almost as if you can see through her skin. Whether that's like a jewelry that she's wearing, or you can see through her skin how the breath is illuminating and coming into her body,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, I love that because I do think a lot of people hold trauma or energy in their
Mm.
throats,
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that is, yeah, I love that card.
Yes, absolutely. The rhythm of my breath directs the rhythm of my life. So if we put those two cards together, I will read what the books say, but we can kind of make our own. I love that with the dead end card of recognizing when you said the only thing you can do, and the word that came into my mind was like breathe, right? Like you're
Mhm.
at this dead end and you don't exactly know what the next step is, right? It's not clear. The dead end is like cloudy, like the card you pulled right last night
Mhm.
before your master
Yeah.
class was. I loved that. The nebula, like this cloudy fog of something is not clear, right? There's a similar theme here that you and I are tapping into of there's something that's not clear right now to us that will become clear as we continue on. But before continuing on, we need to breathe, right? We need to go inward, go introspective. And oh my gosh, yes. Okay. All right, let me get to the book. I love this. What are you thinking about them together?
Well, I think that the breath is like there's so much power, transformational power in the breath. And I've heard so
Mm,
many people talk about how, and that's the most accessible thing for all of us, right? Like we all can breathe. Well, not, well, yeah, I guess we can all breathe.
yeah.
Not every human, I guess, has like a total control over the way that their breath operates, but we can all breathe. You have to breathe to survive. And it's very accessible, it's free. And so when it comes to a point where you need to transform or you need to work through something difficult, you can always rely on your breath. Like it's always
Always.
there for you to rely
It's
on.
always the thing. That's one thing I say, like probably 40 times a week when I'm in my work is like, you always have your breath, that your breath is your anchor. It's with you always, right? And even, right, like you said, even if you are being assisted to be breathing, right? Some humans are, it's always there. And we always have it to be able to just pause and be like, and it just is so, it like that, it helps transform, right? It's a reset. It's just a beautiful, beautiful thing. And we have become so busy that we have to be intentional about breathing, right?
Yeah.
And think about that. Like our body is designed so we do not have to think about breathing, but we recognize that the way that life has become in our world, in our times, is that we going back to the basics of just breathing is so healing. Okay, I'm going to read the card.
All right.
The Dead End from the book. The Closed Door, the Final Chapter, The Impasse. Contrary to what its name implies, the dead end is very much alive. It is a force that stops us from moving forward as planned. It is thick, dense, uncompromising, a wall beyond all walls. With every bramble, thorn, and stone, it simply states, "No more, child. You have reached the last page of this chapter." Oh, I love that so much. It is natural to resist its very resistance and struggle even harder to make our way, to prove our point, to hold on to what was. In this way, we fight with life itself. From a mythic perspective, the end you face is very much a beginning. There are doors opening all around you, just not the one you planned on walking through. If you are honest and courageous enough to accept, adjust, and adapt, the dead end becomes known as life's beginning. Oh, I love that. I love that so much. It was basically verbatim of what you said. You're so brilliant. I love it. Okay, now for the moon deck. The rhythm of my breath directs the rhythm of my life. The card is the breath card. Breath is the sacred thread that runs through us all. Each and every one of us needs to breathe to be alive. It enhances our awareness, allows us to shape our perspective, and enlivens our presence, moment to moment. Slow down and deepen your breath. If you listen closely, your breath has a rhythm. If you feel closely, your breath has a pattern. Your breath responds to mood, emotion, movement, and energy. The simple act of breathing can be incredibly healing when practiced mindfully. Your breath may change when you are tense or soft, resting or dancing, making love or feeling angry. Breath is present through it all. A deeper and more rhythmic breath will bring more centered awareness into your entire being. As you cultivate a practice of healthy breathing, the world around you and within you will respond to this shift. So fun.
Ooh, I love those. Those are really good cards together.
Yeah, they are great cards together because, right, like when you are at the dead end and you are then opening this new chapter, this new phase, this new season, right? Like take that breath. Take that breath. I always like myself, I'll have to be like, okay, Liz, take that breath. I'll say it to my kids. When Jackson's on the mound pitching, I'm like, I'm breathing for him. So sometimes I'm like, when I can see him take that deep breath, I'm like, okay, good. This is going to be a good pitch.
Yes. Oh, I love that. I love that. Well, thank you so much for pulling that card for all of us, Liz. That was
Yes.
beautiful.
And I invite the listeners and viewers to just take a moment now, and if you may like pause and come back. We're going to wrap up shortly, but this may be something for you to journal about, right? What is the dead end? Sometimes we're there and we don't want to even see the dead end. That happens a lot, where we're kind of like, okay, wait, I can go further. I can try, I can keep going. And it's like, no, stop. There's no further to go. The store is closed. And sometimes we, based on our values, we may, get stuck there and think, well, no, I'm not quitting. I don't want to give up. I'm persistent. That's a value of mine. And this is a time to breathe. Right? Even if you're not thinking, I'm not at a dead end, potentially you are. If you're listening to this podcast, if you're watching us, there is a reason that this card came up, and it has some meaning for all of us in this time.
I love that. I hope everyone journals about that. I'm going
to. Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Angie, for being here. And I look forward to our next card pull together.
Yes, absolutely.
We will be back we've been doing, if you haven't watched us, we've been doing a card pull consistently now for the new moon, full moon, new moon, full moon. So our next one will be at the beginning of July for the new moon. And then we also invite you to check out all of the other stuff we've been doing. So Angie has a podcast called Enneagram Ego Death. And there's so much information there. If you know your Enneagram type or not, because you also have a quiz that helps people, and now a masterclass that helps them go even further. So check out Angie at all of her places. Tell us where we can find you.
Oh, okay. So Enneagram Ego Death is the best place to listen. And in my opinion, the best place to start. Angie.alchemist at Instagram is how they can DM me their questions. And I hope they do. And then angiealchemist.com is my email. Or not my email, my website is my website. So they can find me there.
Yes. And thank you for tuning in to the Empowered by Design podcast. I'm so thankful for your loyalty and following and being with us along this journey. I was curious, which is it, Sasha or Valkyrie, and that we hear talking to us?
It's Valkyrie.
I love it. I love them so much. Okay.
So
all right. Well, thank you again. And we hope that this was meaningful for you. DM us and tell us what this means to you, these card pulls. You can find me at Dr._Liz on Instagram. And find us there. Yeah. Until next time, take care. Bye. Thank you for connecting on this episode of the podcast, Empowered by Design. For further connection, subscribe to my email list at drliz.com to be sure that you are in the loop for exciting news, events, and resources. You can also follow me on social media at Dr. Liz and at Visionistas by Design. I invite you to subscribe to this podcast and send this episode to one of your people in order to share the love, spread the power. This podcast is designed to inspire, educate, and empower you to pursue your dreams with intentional vision. This podcast is not meant to be a substitute for psychological treatment or a working relationship with a licensed mental health professional. For more information on connecting with mental health resources in your area, visit drliz.com and click on resources. Thank you again for connecting, and remember, trust the heart, work your vision, dream, design, deliver.